I want to share. But anyway, the thing is that eventually we started in Cleveland Street. And the company again there gave us grace and favour, because after 6 weeks, all our money was running out, hundreds of thousands of pounds that we'd been able to borrow from our home, which we haven't paid back.
It was £140,000.
That's the first one. What about the other 2 loans that we haven't spoken about?
Oh yeah, later on. Yes.
No, they were all, yeah. All right. Anyway, we owe £500,000, right, on our home. But we're not worried about it because we don't want to own it. We're not going to leave it. The taxman is never going to get it. And the banks can have it. Anyway, that's another story. But the thing is that what happened is we announced to the company that, look, we're not going to do what other Christians have done to them and leave them with a bad debt. We'd seen that happen, and we weren't going to do that. So I said, this is going to be the last week that we're going to be broadcasting. Now, the thing that I had the hardest thing to tell Leslie was, you know, I can't, it's not going to work. And do you remember me coming home and telling you that? And this is the thing that worried me most, more than anything, was to tell her that she's going to lose her home. What did you say?
Well, the thing is, I knew that when Howard had told me that he had heard from God about starting a TV channel, I knew that he had heard from God. And when everything was going so wrong in the beginning, and Howard was so drained, and then he said to me, people were not supporting us, ministries were not buying airtime from us, nothing seemed to be happening, we had no money left whatsoever. And Howard said, you know, what's going to happen is we're going to lose the home.
And I said, was that all right?
And I said, yes. I mean, because...
So that was like, big relief.
Yeah. It's almost as if when we had done everything we could do, that was when God stepped in. We didn't start off and say, okay, Lord, when you give us £1 million, we're going to start a channel called Revelation TV. Or when you're going to send all these businessmen and all these staff and all these presenters to help us, then we're going to start Revelation TV. We didn't do that. And I think that God allowed that to happen. And I think that really we had to put our foot into the water first.
We take care of
before
every single penny.
And I think that if somebody had come in and said, here's $1 million, get started, or here's a couple of million, I don't think we would have looked after the last penny in the way that we do, because we're so careful. And we've got Gordon, who's head of our trustees, and he will trim us to the bone all the time. We don't operate on a penny that's wasted ever. And I really think that that's why God started it.
The company that I gave notice to, which was supplying both the studio facilities, our airtime, everything, I spoke to them and I said, right, we'll be finishing at the end of the week or whatever it was. And they came back very quickly and said, look, we've decided to keep you going. Now, after having gone through the heartache and the pain and the pressure, I can't tell you what it was like, and then getting my wife sort of, it's okay, just to lose the home was a great relief for me. So I felt like I didn't have to fight this thing anymore. And then when he told me, going to keep us going, it was such, I didn't want to hear those words. I just wanted to call it a day. When you've reached that point where you just, somebody might be in pain and they just don't want to go another minute longer than when it finished. And it was just that was the pain, the anxiety, the pressure. And, I just wanted an ordinary family life again, I think. And,
But the thing is, from that point onwards, we started to get support. The support has grown very slowly. For you, our viewers, some of you have been with us from the word go. We've got 1 or 2 people in this audience who I wouldn't even dream of naming, who have been incredibly generous towards us, absolutely incredibly. And we always have a heartfelt thanks for them and those who are able to support us in a small way. But I just want to say that God is driving the ship. Is it driving or sailing the ship? Whatever. Steering. He is steering it. And we always say it's almost in spite of us. And before we close, I just very quickly, Yemi, can you come up? I just wanted, Yemi's been involved with us from the word go, and he has quite a funny tale about his very early life. You didn't know I was going to call you up, did you? About his very early life as part of Revelation TV. And just for a couple of minutes, Yemi, before we go on to the next item, just share about those early days as far as you were concerned.
Amen. Yes, I came into England some years after being in Ghana for several years. And I got in touch with Howard. And he said, I've applied for a license for a station, and these guys are not even minding me. I'm going back to America with the whole family. We're going to stay there. We're not coming back anymore. I said, no, you can't do that. I said, because... Okay. I said, you can't do that. I said, because, when God brought you out of America, he wouldn't send you back again, because, if he really wanted to use you in America, he would have kept you in America and prospered you in America. So for him to bring you to Europe, that means the battle is here. Yeah. He said, well, I'm going back anyway, I'm just fed up. I said, no. I said, if you go back, you're going to become like, when Paul and Barnabas split up. Barnabas' name disappeared from the Bible. I said, that's what's likely to happen. So I told him, so he said he's bought the tickets and everything. So in America, I called him. He said, well, we're going to see the immigration lawyer and all the other bits. But finally, by the grace of God, when he came back to England, the license came. So I was passing through England to go back to Ghana. Then he said, Yemi, I got the license, but I like to work with me on this project. I said, but I got some church in Ghana, I got things. He said, no. He said, you know what, you can look after Ghana from here. But I said, okay. So I prayed and I had the release to actually work with him on the project. Then he said, well, we can't afford to pay you. So you have to go look for a job and then you can volunteer your time because we run out of money. I said, okay, no problem. So I had to look for a job that I could work through the night and volunteer during the day. So the only job that was available then was a B&Q job, just in certain. So I got the job, work at night, daytime I sleep, evening, Revelation, back to B&Q, and it was just like that every day. And I remember he told me to do a World in Focus once, and I just opened the phone line and this guy phoned through. He said, Yemi, don't you remember me? I'm your friend at B&Q, And that's how it was. Those days were hard days. Money was not really there. We took the train together I would take the train from Walton, then we joined in Surbiton, off to London, underground, and then back every day. We could only eat toast, nothing else, and black coffee. Even I had to borrow money sometimes from some of the workers to come back the next day. That was how hard it was. But we thank God because we've come a long way, and God has been really faithful.
So obviously there's a lot more to the story, but just to really go through the very, very, very quickly, that company kept us going, and we were able to, through your support, to the viewer support, be able to pay back like half of the money that was outstanding from the past, and the ongoing monthlies, which was around about 90,000 a month. I mean, it's a lot of money, isn't it, broadcasting? And within 6 months, we were able to catch up. And so between the viewers and the grace and favour of this other company, it was able to, sort of keep Revelation TV going. So really, it's then that the pressure was really on, because we moved into out of the sweatbox into a little bit bigger premises there in Cleveland Street, and then a certain couple came along.
It was absolutely amazing. We had a phone call from a couple, and they said, we're friends of Barry and Batia Siegel, and we really think, we could help you. Maybe we could help you to start a charity. And Hal said, this couple are coming this afternoon. We had 9 foster children, 4 children of our own, laundry everywhere. I mean, trying to run the studio from the house. I said, oh no. And Hal said, I said, well, tell them they can just come and have a cup of coffee, but I can't do anything. I said, I can't talk, I'm too tired. And Hal said, well, let's just invite them in, because they've said they will come over. And it's incredible because that couple are Gordon and Lorna Petty. Not only have they supported us, but I think also their friendship has really helped us to get through a lot of these times, and we just love them so much.
Can I just say that there was one of the prophetic words which I received from, what's the lady's name? Leslie, do you remember the lady, the prophet? No, it wasn't, it was another, okay. Sharon Stone, thank you. It was a very long prophecy that she talked about my involvement, etc., etc. But one of the things in there was that we've sown into friendships that have never really been taken up. This is what the Lord was saying, but son, what I'm going to do for you in the future is I'm going to bring people to you that will be friends with you and be really close. And Lorna and Gordon, not only have they just been a tremendous help to us in the running of Revelation TV, but are really good friends and still friends, even with all the having to put up with me for with my foibles. But Lorna and Gordon, just you tell the story from where you joined us.
Bless you. Thanks, Howard. I was just thinking we should sing a song in a moment. I don't know, To God Be the Glory or How Great Thou Art or something. So perhaps if Marianne Batty could think of that. Well, we'd come down. We were trustees of Tommy Tenney, weren't we?
Barry had talked to you, hadn't he? Barry had talked to you and said, I've got a friend, Gordon, you don't know him, he's called Howard and he needs help financially. And we thought that we would just go in, meet this couple, help them out financially and maybe sort them how to do things for a charity, never dreaming that it would take over our lives. And months before, I'd said to Gordon, I do not want any more friends. I've got enough. Because you know, as you get older, you know a lot of people, and you can only have a few real friends. But God has other ideas, and He has given us friends in Howard and Leslie, which I thank God for.
I felt so sorry for Howard and Leslie that particular day, because they described from their point of view how exhausted and tired they were, and here were us, and I think lots of people, because they were in television, suddenly everyone wanted to be their friend and have a cup of coffee with them. And we went over from Croydon, where we were staying at that time, to see them for half an hour and just talked a little bit about money. And one of the things that Howard said was he'd taken professional advice and been told that because it was a TV station, he couldn't have a charity. And I said to him, Howard, that's wrong. You know, Buncombe, of course you can have a charity behind you to support so that people can give. And he more or less said to us, well, you know, if you think you're right and those professionals are wrong, you go and do it. And so we went away and did it. And the Revelation Foundation began some months later, and it's just grown to the point where it is today. And it's only there because of your support and because of your commitment. And the work of the TV station and the foundation goes on, I believe, because Christians can see the vision, see that it's reaching out to people. If you were here yesterday and were listening to some of the testimonies of the presenters, of the lives that have been touched, the lives that have been changed, the people who were contemplating suicide and watched a program and then wrote in or phoned in at the end of a program and said, look, you know, I'm not going to take my life anymore, how do I become a Christian, and became a Christian, then suddenly it all becomes worthwhile. But I guess what it comes back to really is a man heard God and was willing to run with what God said. And that's what we just want to give thanks for today. We seem to have lost Leslie. I'm not sure where she's gone. We've got a birthday cake to bring in. We've also got some cards to to give out.
And
Shall I?
can I take an interval and say many of you have given me photographs, and I hope many more of you are going to give me photographs.
Can I explain why we need photographs?